Hi everyone, so in this video we're going to work on the hips and just trying to work through stretches on them and trying to open them up a little bit. So we start off in a half kneeling position just to focus on the front hip area, the hip flexors. So we're keeping one knee on the mat, one foot is on the mat, just at a comfortable width apart so you're nice and balanced. We're going to focus on the front hip area of that knee that's on the mat here. So we're looking to do is you're trying to guide the hips forward until you feel that stretch point in the front hip area, and then gently guide the hips back to recover out. So as I lean forward now, I'm opening up into that hip flexor stretch, and as I come back, I'm going to release and recover. So we're just going to try and move through the stretch here on that side for the first bit. What we want to try and avoid to do with this is try not to push from your lower back. So I'm trying to push from my hips here, keeping that pelvis tucked in. That should get in that stretch. Sometimes people will just push from the lower back and you'll feel their pressure come through your back and you'll not feel the stretch in the hip. We want to just try and tuck the pelvis in a little bit and push forward from the hip area, and then you'll get into that stretch. So just guide in and away. And then we're going to guide into the next one, and we're just going to try to hold that stretch position for a little bit here. So you're trying to keep the chest nice and tall, pushing gently in. Once you feel that stretch point, that's all we need. We're going to hold here just for a few moments, just to get a little bit deeper in that stretch. We're not trying to push into any pain or discomfort. We're just holding the light stretch sensation in the front of the hip, and it's all we need for this. And then we're going to guide back out of that one gently. Returning, and we're going to switch over now to the other side. So we're going to alternate the legs. And once we're set, again, we're going to try and just lead from the hips, gently pushing forward to get that stretch, gently coming back to release and recover. So again, we're going to guide in from the hips on this, not the lower back, as we open into the stretch and release. Just working towards that stretch position and return to recover. Alright, so I'm going to try and guide in. We're trying to hold the stretch position here again. So we're trying to, again, pushing from that hip area, keeping the pelvis tucked in a little bit if we can. And so I'll get into that stretch a little bit quicker, keeping that chest tall. Just trying to hold that stretch position. From there, we'll guide out gently and come back out of that. So we're going to go into your hands and knees position here now. We're going to try and work a little bit inside the hip joint. And we start off on the left side for this. So in the hands and knees position, I'm going to take my left leg out to the side, trying to plant the foot here on the floor. And if we can, we'll have that leg lengthen. And as we work into this position, you should feel a little stretch inside that left hip joint. From here then, if we can, as we take a breath in and exhale, we're going to try and guide the hips back a little bit into that seated position just to deepen that stretch. Returning then the body back up to the starting position to release out of the stretch. We're going to guide the hips back just as far as you feel you can and return to recover. Might be pretty tight here. You might just be able to hold this one, and that's okay. But if we can, we'll try and guide a little bit deeper into it and then back out to release. Just trying to open up that inner hip with this on that left side. We'll do one more on that left side. And then as we come back up, bringing the left knee back on the mat in a supported position. I'm going to go over to the right side here now. So again, we're going to try and plant the foot out to the side. And then once we're there, feeling a little stretch inside that inner right hip joint, we're going to try and guide the hips back a little bit more to open out that hip into a deeper stretch, returning the body back up to the starting position to release out. Again, just guiding back gently to your stretch position. Return to release and recover. Again, if you can just hold it rather than guide the hips back, if that's enough for that side, we can just hold there. Just work into your own range of motion with this one. So you work into that right hip area. And as we come back up, bringing that knee back in on that recovery position. Keep your knees together here, so we just sit back into the hips just to release the lower back region here for a few moments, and the back of the hips. So we get our hips back into a seated position, just trying to hold, taking the pressure off the upper body for a moment. And then we're going to come back up and out of that. So next one here now is going to go still inside the hips on both sides. We're going to split the knees apart a little bit wide for this one here. I'm going to try and drop the inner heel towards the floor or mat. And then we're trying to just guide the hips back into a seated position just to open up the hips a little bit more on both sides. And we're going to return the hips back up to release out. So slightly wide with the knees here if we can. As we guide our hips back, return to release and recover. Again, just go back as far as you feel comfortable on this one. Into the stretch and release. And then once more, we're going to try and hold that stretch. If we can here, just guiding the hips back just as far as you feel you can hold for a few moments here, just to unlock the inner hips on both sides a little bit deeper. And then coming back out gently out of that. We'll bring the knees close together here, and we'll just sit back into our child's pose again just for a moment, just to recover the hips and that lower back region. And then we're going to come back out gently. So we're going to change now around to a seated position on the mat here. There's a little bit more in that inner hip region. So as we sit on the mat here, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. We're going to work inside the hips. So the closer the feet coming towards the body, the more intense this can be if you need to make it a little bit more intense, or push them out if it feels a little bit too tight. We're going to hold the feet together with the hands here. We're going to let the knees be our guide. Taking a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to drop the knees down towards the mat. Just opening into the inner hip stretch. And then we bring the knees back up towards the tall position again to return out of that stretch. So as the knees are getting down, we'll open out into the stretch of the inner hips, return to release and recover. And feet can come a little bit closer if we need to get a little bit deeper into this one. As we guide away down into the stretch, return to release and recover. Just go as far as you feel comfortable on this one to work inside the hips. And then our last one here, we're going to try and relax and just trying to hold the stretch here for a little bit. And we can lean forward with the chest just if you need to get a little bit more into this one and the hold and stretch. We're trying to hold though at a comfortable position so we don't have to lean forward if it feels a little bit too intense on the body. Coming back out gently out of that, the knees are going to come back together again. With the legs lengthened out here, we're going to come down fully on the mat. So we're just going to just lie in that supine position. And once we're here, our feet are going to be on the mat. I'm going to work a little bit outside the hip muscles here now. So the feet on the mat, we're going to take the right foot across the left knee area. And the right foot's going to be our guide for this one here. So as best we can on this movement, trying to keep the right shoulder staying on the mat as close as we can. We're going to slowly now take a breath in, and as you breathe out, the right foot's going to come down to your left side or left side of the floor. As it slowly comes down, you're going to feel that little stretch in that outer right hip joint. So all we're looking for is the stretch point. And we're going to bring the leg back to the starting position to release out of the stretch again. So we're trying to guide the foot away gently on this one to get that stretch. Return to release and recover. So just go into our own range of motion here as we drop that right foot towards the left side of the floor. And as we do this, we're trying to keep the right shoulder on the mat as best we can just to get into the stretch. As we come back up, we're going to just bring the right foot back on the mat nice and gently beside the left. And we're going to work to the opposite side now, taking the left foot across the right knee area. And then once we're set, we're going to just gently guide the left foot down to the right side of the floor. As we do this, trying to find the stretch in that outer left hip. and returning the legs back to the starting position to release out of the stretch again. So just gently guiding the foot away, looking just for your own stretch position, and return to release and recover. As the right foot goes away now to the left foot goes away to the right side, trying to keep that left shoulder on the mat. As we come back up here, we're going to just bring the left foot on the mat beside the right. I'm going to extend the legs out fully on the mat here in that lengthened position. So work a little bit at the back of the hip here now. It's going to go back over to the right leg. I'm going to take the right leg up off the mat, and I'm going to try and bring the knee in towards the body. I'm going to try to hold the stretch here. So we're going to try to hold the hands just over the knee joint and pull the knee in to the stretch position. I'm going to hold here to release that right side of the back hip area. We just hold at the stretch here. From there, relaxing that leg out slowly, back on the mat. Resetting that side, I'm going to work over to the left here now. Bring the left leg up, bend the knee, bring the knee in towards the body. We're trying to hold that leg in to the stretch of the hip. So you hold the stretch. Okay, we're trying to hold the stretch, point around the back hip area on that left side. All we're looking for here. And gently relaxing that leg out and back down on the mat once again beside the right leg. It's going to work a little bit inside the hips here now. I'm going to bring the feet on the mat again. Feet are hip width apart. I'm going to work into a controlled leg circle just to open out the hip. We'll work over to the right side here. So taking the right leg up off the mat. We'll take a breath in as we sit the leg down to the center. And as we breathe out, go and try and bring the right leg out to the right side, opening out the hip to the stretch and back up. So we're trying to do a controlled leg circle here. As we draw the circle, we're just looking for a little stretch inside the hip joint. If it feels a little bit too intense, we can draw a smaller circle to lessen that stretch intensity. Or we can go a little bit deeper into the stretch by creating a larger circle. We're just going through a comfortable range of motion, and we're always in control of the circle. As we come back up to the tall position again, going to bring the right foot on the mat beside the left. I'm going over to that left side here now, so we're going to guide the left leg up towards the sky. I'm going to try and draw a controlled circle as we bring that leg down to the center of the mat, working out to the left side and back up to open out the hip. Okay, just nice and controlled as you draw the circle. Working again just through a comfortable range of motion so we can draw a smaller circle if this side feels a little bit tighter. Just working through your own range of motion here as you work through that leg movement. As we complete our last circle here, we're going to bring the left foot back on the mat beside the right. I'm going to try and stretch and release the back hip area here now. We're working into a bit of the glute max stretch. So for this one, we're going to take the right foot again across the left knee. And then once we're there, we're going to try and just guide the left leg in towards the body a little bit. So we feel the stretch in the back of the right hip. I'm going to try to hold this stretch. So we can lift the left leg off the mat, and then if it feels okay, we can hold the left leg with the hands to support this stretch if needed. Or the left foot can stay on the mat if that's enough stretch for you. You're just looking for a little stretch in the back of the right hip. And trying to just hold the stretch position for a few moments. From there, relaxing out gently. 2 feet are back on the mat, back to the starting position. And we're going to go to the other side here as we take the left foot across the right knee area, just at a comfortable position for the leg and hip. And then we're going to try and guide the right leg in towards the body a little bit more, just to get the stretch in the back of the left hip. And again, the right leg can come off the mat and in. We can keep the right foot on the mat if that's enough for you on that side. Just coming into the hold and stretch position. That's all. Hold in this position for a few moments. From there, guiding down, our 2 feet are back on the mat once again. So we're going to try to release a little bit inside the hips now. Just we're going to go with our soles of the feet together for this next one, and allow the 2 knees to drop away towards the mat. And we're just trying to find the stretch inside the hips as we do this. I'm going to try and pause and hold this one for a little bit. Just relax into your stretch point and we hold here. From here, we're going to guide the knees back up to the starting position. Feet are back on the mat. I'm just going to try and go a little bit deeper inside the hips here now. So for our next one, we're going to try to lift the legs off the mat, roughly about 90 degrees. And then we're going to try and split the legs apart and we're going to let them slowly fall away from each other towards the ground. Opening out the hips a little bit more. So we're trying to use gravity here just to deepen the hip stretch. If we need here, we can have the hands on the outside of the legs just to support this one. We can hold the leg area just to help support this. Feet can come together as well just to lessen this intensity if that's more comfortable than the knees and feet away from the body. We're just trying to relax and open out the hips a little bit more with this hold and stretch for a few moments. The arms are there to support this one. And knees are going to come back together gently. Feet are coming back down on the mat. And then from here, it's going to just lift the feet off the mat once more together. Hands are going to be underneath you now. We're going to work ourselves into our little controlled leg circles just to release the back of the hips and the lower back. So use some controlled leg circles. Just pause in our circles there, bringing the feet down and just allowing the legs to fully relax out. We're just letting the body recover for a few moments here to finish.